I received less than 8, for example, I would note that at this point. I'm just marking that I've received these products on site. Go ahead, Oscar.
Okay. So so team members would go straight to the verify to receive, or they still have to go through the invoice tab to see these 3 items?
Still go through the invoice tab to see these 3 items. So this stock status, this awaiting stock status, is a stopping status that we have turned on for you guys. If you no longer see this as something that you would need, we could turn this off. But I'd like you to keep that in mind as we go through the restocking process. My initial thoughts were to leave it on for you guys so you could easily differentiate what is actually in the machine versus not, but is available to you, like on site, for example, or in your excess inventory. So one thing I do want to note, so we are in an invoice now. I can leave this workflow. So we have our atenolol, our Fluzone, so our flu shots, and our prednisone. All of this inventory, since it is in an awaiting stock status, is now available on this restock step, even if I am not within the context of this invoice. So if I left and now my restocker is given this box and wants to start the restock process, they could, without selecting and finding out what invoice this is on, just start at the restock step. And I can walk you through that process. So if I am that restocker, I have arrived with this box that pharmacy just gave me. I don't have an invoice sheet. I have no idea where this is coming from. I can scan one of these units to start that restock process. So here you can see this is all available inventory. I am in a QA environment, so all of this is available to be stocked, but this is not so realistic. So I will scan one of those atenolol, and it is automatically going to bring up any matching product for that type of product. So for atenolol 25, quantity 30, I have 2 units that are in stock and just waiting to be placed in the machine. These are those units that I just approved as awaiting stock. I have 9 units that are pending return restock, so they are in my return bin. And I have 3 other units that were on a different invoice that are awaiting to be stocked. So this is a holistic view of your inventory now. Here we can see the designation of things that are ready to go versus need approval. If your user has the permissions to promote things from awaiting stock to stock, they will be able to approve from this page. They don't have to leave and go elsewhere. So for this sake, I'm going to start that restocking process. So I'm first going to click Add to select which products I'm adding to the machine. And now this is that new guided restock workflow. So at the top, we show which product we are receiving. I'm automatically in scanning mode, and it prompts me to begin restocking by scanning either the product or the belt. So these are all of my available belts. If I had multiple machines, the machines would all be listed here as well. So I just scanned the product. We can see the product that was scanned. It is a match, so it is showing that it is green, product confirmed. If I scan something else, it would stop me in that process and say, this is the wrong product. Please check what you are receiving before continuing. So now I will...
Real quick, while we're on the scanning part, I don't know if Marcel was going to ask something similar. Is it still like I scan one bottle, but I can approve multiple, or I would have to scan each individual package item?
This is just a representational unit, so you don't have to scan multiple times. If you really want to just really prove it to yourself that they all belong there, you may, but you only need to scan one unit.
Missy, the other question that I had is, while we're on the topic of scanning, if they scan the correct product and the correct belt barcode, but let's say that that belt was reassigned to a different drug, but the barcode on that tray or belt, someone forgot to replace it.
Yes,
Is it also smart enough to know that, hey, it's no longer assigned to this location?
it sure is.
Okay.
So in that instance, there will be a specific message that tells you that it is no longer assigned to that product, and you should reprint a new belt barcode. And I'm glad you brought that up. These little buttons here, if you ever need to replace a barcode, you can at this point. So say, for example, one is now faded or was torn, you can always reprint it from this dialog. If at this point you needed to reassign something, you can also change belt assignments from here as well. And that's, again, only if you give these users those permissions. All right, so
just one more question, and
yep, go ahead.
And Marcel, you can chime in if you don't agree with it. Would there be an opportunity where we have them scan each product when they enter it in, or just in case, because just a way to prevent the stuff that's being scanned by the nursing that's not in stock or something like that, or make sure, because all the bottles look alike, right? So just a way to prevent other refill mistakes.
So currently what we have in place is if you scan multiple units to confirm that they are the same product, this section here on the left would essentially blink with an outline of green. We don't really have the concept within the restocking dialog to scan every single unit and count, so to speak. So say I was receiving 2, it wouldn't prompt you to scan twice and count and make sure you scanned twice. But we can talk more about something like that if we see the need for something like that.
Yeah. Oscar, I get where you're coming from too, but I mean, the way it's set up right now, it's no different than a Pixis restock, right? Even during a Pixis restock, they're scanning that first barcode that's available to them, and they're not scanning each barcode, you know?
No, you're right. It's just that's unit dosing versus setting a prescription
Yeah.
with a nurse.
Yeah.
That's only. It's fine. It's what we do today. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
I just could see that being asked down the road.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I guess my response now is I'm okay with the current setup. But I totally get where you're coming from, though.
And Oscar, does some of that have to go back to when we first started with you and items were being placed on the belt that weren't received yet because it was so confusing? Is that where that ask came from?
No,
because it was
it
scanning
is.
is
It is stuff that
mismatched?
wasn't received. So like today, what my team does is that before they put anything into the carousel, they scan each item that they're putting in to make sure that it was the correct product and awaiting stock. Especially if you have something with multiple lots or different expiration dates.
Okay.
That's their way of checking the barcode. But I think that our refilling process has gotten much better, so maybe we can dial it back a little bit, not make it so manual.
Yeah.
But this is already gonna be like a step in the right direction. Like we can always assess later on. And when I flip this over to the techs, let's see how they try to find a way to break it. So I'm fine with I don't want to go down the rabbit hole anymore. Like this is perfectly fine.
Yeah, because I think some of that's kind of addressed with the repackagers putting the separate lots into different bags. So Remedy, if there's the same product with 2 lots, they usually double bag so that they're not mixed together that way. So when you're pulling them, you're automatically getting. I think that'll stop some of that too, but we'll see. Thank you.
Just to try to help as well, if I scan a product that is the same exact product but a different lot, so scan same product, different lot, it will tell me that this is not the lot that you are intending to stock. So if I grabbed the wrong thing and scanned it, we are at least serving up a message to tell you, like, yes, it's the right product, but this is not what you had selected.
Out of curiosity, Missy, for that lot feature, could that be disabled? I'm more so asking if it's a feature that can be disabled, not if we can't disable it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So we are lot specific right now,
Okay.
just because we're trying to get essentially a virtual RFID kind of system in place.
Understood.
So we are trying to know exactly what your inventory is and where. So yes, for that reasoning, currently it's not a feature that can be disabled.
So Missy, so the stuff that you scan, so I'm the technician. I have the bag of meds that were already in a waiting stock, and I'm scanning it, right? Mm-hmm. Are they approving it to stock from here, or has we approved the stock prior? And this is just scanning and making sure they put it in the right belt.
So this is already in stock, but I will go through right after this, approving something that was a waiting stock into stock and show you what that looks like.
Perfect.
All right, so these two were just sitting on the shelf waiting to be stocked, and they were included in my box. So they're already in stock and just need to be placed in the machine. So I scan the product to confirm, and now I'm going to choose this belt right here. I can see there's 10 available spaces there. So I'm going to scan that barcode. And you can see it automatically will guide me through the steps. So it shows me that it was a successful scan. It automatically closes that step and brings me to the next step. The next step is an optional step to audit the current belt stock. So if I'm a restocker, what we heard from some of your pharmacists were that they were counting the units in each belt to make sure that the physical count in the belt matched what they were expecting. So the first time going through this process, you will likely see a 0 since we have never done this before. But as you enter numbers and as you dispense, we will keep track of all of those units and be able to serve up an intelligent number here. So to start, we're actually starting with no units in the belt physically, so we're going to confirm that. And then our last step is to actually place the units in the belt. So now I am placing those 2 units. And upon placing them, I get a summary of what I just did, where I placed these items. If they did not all, oh, go ahead, Oscar.
Very good. So if you scan the belt, right, and let's say that because the machine asks for 4, and the capacity, and you had a drug with multiple belts in it, right? Will I be able to have to scan another belt? So I'm putting in 2 and then to go through the whole process again? Or I guess when you go through another example, if you can show what it's like with something in multiple belts.
Yep. Yeah, I can do that. All right, so I've fully stocked everything for this product. It tells me everything is all set and ready. If I did not, it would list how many were remaining, and then upon clicking continue would serve up from step 1 again, the belt selection. So that may have been your question there, Oscar, where could I start and add things to the next belt if needed? So I'll click continue. So now our in-stock products are gone. Now I can approve things from a waiting stock. So this was that inventory invoice that we had just received on site. So I'm going to finalize. Now those units, you saw it very briefly in the background, they were promoted to that section of in stock, and we have automatically opened that dialog for you to place them in the machine. So now we're starting with 8. And again, confirm the product. I'm going to actually continue stocking this belt. For the sake of showing what you were asking though, Oscar, I'll only place 4 of those units so I can show placing another belt. So I'm going to scan that same belt. So now we know there are already 2 units there. We're expected to be able to fit all 8 there because the max capacity is 10. If this weren't the case, we would serve up a different message here. And a couple of other messages that will show up there. If you have expired inventory, we would prompt you to remove the expired units. Or if you have units that are closer to expiring, so 120 days or less out from their expiration date, we would prompt you to move those units to the front of the belt. And here I can stock as many as I please in there. So I'm going to change this to 4. I'll finalize. We've added 4. So our total received 8. We stocked 4. We have 4 remaining. There's 4 units that still need to be placed. You click the next button, it will start me back over in that process. So now, confirm the product, pick a new belt. So we will pick, let's see, 3, 2. And if I ever want to see any of those details, I can always re-expand these sections. So say I scanned 3, 2, but I wanted to change it to a different belt, I can also change it at any time. And I will add my last of those 4 units. And now everything is stocked. If I click continue, it will just drop me back here where I can scan my next unit. So say I wanted to start stocking the prednisone. I could start simply by scanning, or I could also click clear and type to filter. So either modality is available. So again, if there's anything that's already in stock and just needs to be placed, that would be listed above. Anything that requires an approval would be listed next. So typically what we're trying to promote is that things would be always in that approval required status so that your users can differentiate in stock versus in my excess stock. So your awaiting stock status would be applied to all of your available stock that is not yet in the kiosk. And then in stock would essentially become synonymous with in the kiosk. So I want to pause for any kind of questions or any other ideas that you guys may have had seeing that process.
I think that makes sense to me, Missy. So basically, if it's a waiting stock, the interpretation is, hey, this is something that you have floating around somewhere as overstock, but it does not live in your machine currently. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And then from an invoice perspective, or Pam, today, my team would be able, well, if this was activated, right, we would be able to receive from the invoice, put something awaiting stock in the invoice. And then we should be able to see it when we go refill in this restock queue.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And you can do it off of the invoice as well, right, Missy? If they were working solely, like I'm thinking
Sure.
in my head, like the Millennia ER, the box gets sent directly there. So there's not like a pharmacist checking it off. It'll be the tech.
That's right. So if I were just going right off of the invoice, this is the same order. So I'll select it. Here's my invoice. We already did some of that atenolol. So you can also review anything that you have stocked, your previous stocking information. If I wanted to just receive from here, I can. So this is showing me I don't have that much space in the machine. So this is actually a new feature. I probably should have called this out earlier. But in our approval process, we try to tell you how much space you have in the machine so that you aren't promoting more things to in stock than you have available space for. So here you have 9 slots out of 10. This is only assigned to one belt, but you've received 20 units. So we are changing your number to approve to 9 rather than all 20 because you do not have enough space for 20. So in this case, I could add my 9 units, and I was just on the verify step. I didn't move over to the restock step. We have it so that this dialog, if you still choose and want it to, can show up so that certain locations can receive from the verify step and restock in one fell swoop. So Millennia, for example, would still be able to just receive their box on site and receive it from the verify step for that invoice.
Missy, can you go back to, so once something is in a waiting stock and you approve it, that's when the actual stocking process gets initiated, correct?
Yes. So in this case, it is now considered in stock, but it has not been placed in the machine. So our restock step will find any inventory that has not been given a home, so to speak, in the machine and bring that into the restock step, as well as anything that is one step away from being in stock. So that's your awaiting stock status, as well as that pending return restock. So anything that is in your med return bin.
Right. So when something gets approved, that inventory becomes a part of the machine, correct? But technically, it could still live outside of the machine if someone hasn't physically placed it in, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, what we're aiming for is in stock becomes synonymous with in the machine. Though in theory, if you did not place the units
Right.
directly in the machine, it
Yeah.
could not be the case. Yeah. So if I went over to the restock step, those 9 units of that flu zone would be there. So I just scanned that same product. And there's my 9 in-stock units. Now, once those have been added to the machine, they would not show up anymore in this workflow. They are in stock, but since we know that they are assigned, we do not need to serve them up again to be placed in the machine.
And I have a question based on the user perspective today. So for stuff that needs to be returned or that was in the credit bin, right? Is that does a technician have access to return it currently, or is it only the pharmacist? Or
currently, I would need to add, I think, to the pharmacy tech role, the return feature, the return permission, if you wanted them to be able to do that.
and Marcel and Robert, so that'd be like it's in the credit bin, but they would have to remove the patient label, or let's say the product is damaged and they would have to delete it. I don't know if that's something that we trust them with, or not sure.
I'm okay with that role, Oscar.
Sounds good.
So hold on, Oscar. So you're saying, okay, so we label it to all the parts. The patient doesn't want it.
Correct.
And so we're going to have to take it out of the bin, unlabel the container,
Yep.
and then restock it themselves?
Correct.
Will that process require scanning and all that, or how will that work?
Yeah, they usually use a barcode because the nurses are trained not to label over the prepackaged label, right? In the event there is a way that they can reprint that label if they find a product. But if it's really damaged or something like that, then they could actually discard it and send it back to central pharmacy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. If they have to relabel it, I would be concerned about that. Might be a bit too far. Like if it's a simple peel a label off, scan the barcode that's already on there, and then put it back, I'm okay with that. But
Same
if they
here.
have to apply a new label of some sort, I think that's an issue.
Yeah. So I just always got to educate them on, like, hey, like if you rip off the label, then it's got to go back down to pharmacy. And sometimes most of the stuff in there, believe it or not, is stuff that like fell from the machine. Like it might not even have a patient label on it. So or it was flagged easily. So it's just something. I don't know if it was a user update we would have to do.
Yeah, I just echoing what Robert said. I'm okay with it. I mean, as long as they're removing the label and it's actually not damaging the integrity of the original label on that bottle, and they're going through the same scan verification, I think that's totally acceptable.
Okay, I'll make the update to the pharmacy text roll when this rolls out.
Me gusta.
So we like to hear.
One thing I wanted to mention too is just a little bit of next steps for this group, and just to let you guys know what'll also be available. So one thing we talked about this morning is giving you guys the ability to, if you want to do routine audits that might not be during your restocking process, we're going to make the auditing feature of the belts available on the dispensing machines workflow. So if you ever wanted to do, say, like a once a month audit of the machines, you would be able to do it there. And then the ability to track number of units on a per belt basis gives us the ability to run deeper analytics to let you guys know, who restocked the machines, which belts did they alter, if you will, how many products did they put in each. So there will be a new analytics workflow that will be coming out in the near future.
All right, very cool. Thank you, Steve.
What timeline are we looking at, or education, training, etc.?
So I think we're looking at, if you guys agreed with everything today, our thought was, give Missy and her team the time they need just to make sure everything is perfect, and maybe targeting some time late next week to release it to production. If that's too short a time, we can do it the following week, but open to your feedback there.
I'm a vote for the sooner the better, and I'm in agreement with everything that's been presented today.
Same. And when you guys flip it on, Marcel, do you want all kiosk, or you just want one campus to use it to test it out, make sure everything's fine before we roll it out everywhere, or you're fine doing all three?
The daredevil in me says all three at the same time. But
it's interesting you say that, because I was going to say the conservative in me is like, no, let's just do Oscar's campus because he's closest to it. And if it blows up, we got people there to deal with it.
Yeah. I'm okay with starting with. I think the conservative take would be to start with one site. Start with that, and then we can expand it to the other sites once we reach a certain comfort level.
Yeah, and I don't know that we need it for long, maybe a week.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
it goes smoothly and there's no issue, then
yeah.
roll it forward. Yeah, absolutely. I just don't want it to blow up at, millennia, and then we got to try and get there and fix it.
I don't mind it being Winter Garden, because it's primarily the techs that are here.
Yeah.
And that's 7-day-a-week techs, so because we refill it more frequently here, so we'll get a better idea. So if I want Winter Garden going with it first and tinkering with it, and if it's all good, then we get educated, roll it out to the other kiosks.
I mean, Oscar has a say in this as well, but I'm a vote for Winter Garden as well, just because Minio was the new and shiny campus. I just want to
agree.
That's funny. And from my knowledge, or for my knowledge, Oscar, how much overstock inventory are you still sitting on at Winter Garden?
We're getting there. We're a lot less than what we were after we absorbed Millennia, so we're getting there on that. So we should see that go down.
Okay.
I don't think we have do we have the QR codes, Nora?
You do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
They are, but they're like falling off. Like some have it and some not. So we might need to like laminate them and have them stick on in a better way.
Okay.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, that was Nora, by the way. Sorry, guys. She was chiming in. She's our new kiosk super user.
Okay, so those labels have been on for gosh, right about a month, right? Because I did that before we went live at Mineola. And you're saying they're already falling?
Yeah, like a bunch of them. Maybe more than 10.
Okay.
So what we could do now is that, so what I need to do to get this rolling correctly, I need to start well, we need to decide which technicians are going to do it, give them some training. So they said they're going to go live a minute or get the update next week or whenever in 2 weeks. And then hopefully 2 to 3 weeks, we can go live week after, give us enough time for training and education. It shouldn't take long. I know someone that lives really, really close to Winter Garden that can help me. So
maybe. Yeah, that's fine. We'll get that taken care of. I'm just gonna try to figure out best way to get stickers on that don't fall off. And you have laminating sheets there. I don't want to go that route yet if I don't have to, though. Not that you guys change very often. You don't have any belt changes coming up, do you?
not yet. I'm almost, because I feel like we could fit more, or you tell me, Pam, with the remedy bottles. I feel like we're able to get to, like, Joel's telling me, like 14 bottles per belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like that
Jason,
with
double
remedy.
check with Jason, because I know he came across some of the capacities. He's like, who said we could get 15? There's no way. I started laughing. So I think he had some that were 13, 14, but he definitely had some overcrowding.
Yeah, I feel like once we move, like, because once I'm burning through like my bottles to their bottles, so I feel like there will be an optimization though, but I can look at the inventory to see where we are so we can time it out better.
Okay.
But it's not a big deal. We're all on site, so.
Just to briefly recap, so basically Winter Garden as the initial site to briefly test this out, and then Pam, we can set up some more formal training sessions, especially for Mineola, because they'll need it.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Missy, for your presentation. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Pam, and thank you everyone on the Adherent team. I appreciate you guys working with us to streamline things.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys' time today, your patience with us, and looking forward to getting this out for you guys here soon.
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right.
All
Have a
right,
good
guys,
day.
take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.